Hey everyone, it's Crystal here, and today I am doing a PDO lift on this patient. This is someone that was a new patient to me. She has never had lifting threads before. And after doing a very thorough consult with her and just kind of talking about the ins and outs of the procedure itself and potential complications and going through her history and all of that, I decided that she was a good candidate for PDO lifting threads. So as you can see, her tissue is it looks pretty heavy when you first look at it. So, I was very honest with her in what she can expect result-wise. When it comes to the aftermath or the outcome of the procedure itself. But then once I got in there and I actually started to feel her tissue and kind of work with it, it was actually pretty loose, lax tissue. The problem with her skin was that you can kind of see from a distance she has quite a bit of sun damage. So that can make it very difficult to kind of get through the tissue. It just is more dense. So it makes it a little difficult to move a cannula through the tissue because it is a blunt tip, so it doesn't really glide through nicely. So you can see in some areas it goes right in, other areas I kind of struggle a little bit, so you'll kind of see that throughout the video. But with all of that in mind, she did end up getting a really nice result that I was happy with. Actually, it was better than I was expecting. And I was happy about that because she said she just retired from her job back in July. And she's never done anything like this before for herself. And she's like, I finally feel like I deserve to do something for myself and make myself feel good and feel pretty. So here we are. And I was very happy that I was able to do this for her and give her a nice result. So as you can see, moving the cannula in. So I started with just some Lido with epi to numb her insertion site. Went in with an 18 gauge needle as my pilot hole to create my insertion. And then I am using a 22 by 75 ComfortOx cannula to deliver plain lidocaine down each vector. And what this does is kind of creates a tunnel for the thread to then follow in. And we're also, as you can see, I'm retrograding out, pushing lidocaine in that entire vector so she's good and numb. So now when I go in with the threads, which I am using VSoft Arte 3 17 gauge by 100 millimeter length threads. When I go in with these, now she's good and numb. And the tissue's kind of already been opened up a little bit for me with the cannula so I can get in there a little better. These threads are very thick and can be a little difficult to work with. So you can see, again, just because of her tissue in general, trying to get through some of the areas was a little difficult. So you can see I'm moving pretty slow, checking my depth as I go. Getting past that nasolabial fold is always tough, just because the cheek kind of falls off right there. So it's really difficult to stay in the correct plane. So just moving slow, making sure you are attempting, to pick up that tissue and stay in the correct plane is most important. So you can see I just placed one to the nasolabial fold. Now I'm placing one to the marionette line. So kind of straight down through the oral commissure area, and getting closer to the mandible to pick up that downward turn of the corner of the mouth or the marionette line. And then I am placing one directly into the jowl area. So the jowl area is typically, the heaviest portion of it is typically anterior to the antegonial notch. So that's kind of where I'm aiming. I want to get the distal end of the thread as far into the heaviest part of that jowl as possible so that it will engage there and really help to lift up the heaviness to give her a little bit more definition to the jawline. So you can see I'm struggling a little bit here, and I didn't like the way it was being placed, so I kind of grabbed onto the end of the thread so it wouldn't engage in the tissue, and I backed up because I just really wasn't moving in the plane I was in. I wasn't liking the way it felt, and I didn't want to just force it, so I kind of backed up a little bit. And then as you can see now, I'm definitely in the correct plane. It's gliding way more smoothly than it was prior. So this is definitely more comfortable for me and for the patient when you're in the correct plane. So I have those 3 in, and then I always tend to place one along the jawline, which I am doing here, because that really helps to not only give more definition to the jawline, because it kind of like gives you that snatched look, but it also softens the marionette line as well because it pulls back on there. So jawline, using the same thread, I just used 4 of the Arte 3s per side, and I do the same thing on the other side. She was pretty symmetrical, so I treated her the same on both sides. And once I got to the end here, removing that little plastic piece, ensuring that the thread stays engaged, and then once I know it is, pulling back and exaggerating. So then this is me just kind of showing her the difference. So she still has the threads in her face. I haven't cut them yet, but I'm just kind of showing her the difference between sides so she can see just what kind of result she got. And she was happy with it. I think she thought that, it lifted decent. So now I cut the threads, and I'm just kind of smoothing out the area with alcohol just to ensure she's good and clean. And this just kind of helps to engage the threads, make sure they're not puckered or dimpled anywhere, and then applying Band-Aids that the patient should keep on for the rest of the day. And that is it. Going over, making sure everything is nice and smooth, and then I will do the same exact thing on the other side. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.